All right, and welcome back. And today we're going to be reading chapter 8 of Big Nate Goes for Broke, and hopefully reading a little more than just chapter 8. But let's begin. Supporting cast, get it? Tap, tap. Art studio. You know, that's not a bad joke, Teddy says as we file in to the art room the next morning. For a principal. Joke schmoke, I grumble. What's funny about a broken wrist? Well, the fact that you broke it while catching an inflatable butt pillow is pretty amusing. Oh, sure, Francis, it's a riot, and having a hunk of plaster wrapped around my hand for the next month should be a barrel of laughs. I used to think it might be cool to have a cast. Last year, when Eric Fleury broke his arm, everyone treated him like Joe Celebrity. All the girls were lining up for Eric time. Did it hurt, Eric? It must have. I can't believe you didn't cry. Suddenly, the guy was a total babe magnet, and P.S. all he did was fall down in the schoolyard while doing cheesy kung fu moves. At least I got hurt trying to help Chad. Anyway, Eric's moment of glory lasted about 3 minutes. After that, he said having a cast turned into a major pain. And, boy, was he right. This thing is hot. It itches like crazy, and it's already starting to smell like Coach John's tube socks. Ugh. But you know the worst part about it? It's on my right hand, my drawing hand. Okay, gang, we all have our we all have our pencils and paper. So guess what we're going to do today? Draw. Brilliant deduction, Chad. There's only one little problem. I can't draw. Ugh. Oh, I've tried. It's the first thing I did when I got home from the hospital yesterday, but I can't even hold a pencil with this stupid cast on. It's like wearing a cement mitten. Clunk. So then I went with plan B, drawing left-handed. Ultra Nate! Never fear, Nate is here. Pathetic, right? I did better drawings back in kindergarten, and Dad made it worse by doing fake praise thing that parents always do. I hate that. Oh, that's good, Nate. That's really good. Pat, pat. So now you know exactly why I'm not turning cartwheels when Mr. Rosa tells us to get to work. But I give it a shot. Poink, 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 poink. Maybe you should try sticking the pencil up your nose, Teddy cracks, after watching me draw a dog that looks more like a radioactive spider. Oof. Maybe you should, I snap back. I don't have a broken wrist, he reminds me. That could change. Okay, everybody, 5-minute warning, Mr. Rosa calls out as we all start cleaning up. He stops by our table. Do you remember Miss Everett, he asks. Sure, says Francis. She came to our doodlers meeting. Well, her club, the CIC, is meeting today, and we're invited. Oh, lucky us. When science ends, and not a moment too soon, because Mr. Galvin was about to hit on a new low on the charisma meter, the doodlers head for Miss Everett's room, along with our newest member. This is so exciting! I've never been to a cartooning club meeting. What do you think it'll be like? How many kids from Jefferson will be there? I can't wait to see everyone's comics. Have you ever met a famous cartoonist? What if I become a famous cartoonist someday? Dee Dee's yapping like a chihuahua on a sugar buzz. I guess she's all amped up about listening to the mighty CIC tell us how talented they are. Or maybe she can't wait to see one of my amazingly lame left-handed drawings. Hey, gang, want to watch me draw some wobbly lines? I think we're here. It seems pretty quiet, Teddy says as we approach an open doorway. Are you sure we're in the right place? You're absolutely in the right place, Miss Everett says, waving us into the room. CIC is secret code. It means come in, cartoonists. Here's a shocker. Jefferson has the swankiest art studio I've ever seen, and it's packed with kids drawing comics. Hey, everyone, these are the members of the PS38 Cartooning Club. A few look up and nod, but most of them don't even notice us. They just keep drawing. Wow, it's like an assembly line in here. They seem very focused. Yes, Miss Everett nods. They have a deadline. The story spinner entries are due in 3 days. Excuse, please? What is a story spinner? It's a local literary magazine, Miss Everett explains. It's sponsoring kids' writing contests. Chad looks baffled. But comics aren't writing. Sure they are, she says. They're writing combined with pictures, and the contest rules clearly state, comics welcome. I have entry forms if you're interested, she adds. Oh, I sure am. I'm interested, intrigued, and inspired. Yes, what he said. I'll be right back, says Miss Everett smiles. Everyone chatters excitedly as she goes to her desk, except me. I don't say a word. What's wrong with this picture? Teddy asks. Huh? I mumble. Dude, you're quieter than some of these CIC stiffs. Why so bummed out? Because I can't enter the contest. Einstein, I answer. I'm halfway through my most hilarious Dr. Cesspool adventure ever. But until I get this cast off, I can't finish it. Miss Everett is back. Why not collaborate, she suggests. You could write the rest of the story, and couldn't one of your fellow doodlers supply the artwork? Yes, one of us could. Me. What? Whoa. No offense, Dee Dee, but you're not exactly at the top of my A-list. I'll team up with Francis or Teddy, or I think it's a great idea, Mr. Rosa just appeared out of nowhere at our table. It'll be like Dee Dee's Doodler's initiation. Oh, come on. I already took her to the dance and carried her home on my back. Haven't I suffered enough? But Mr. Rosa is wearing his happy advisor face. Nuts. I guess it's settled. Here are your entry forms. Just hand them back by Friday, along with your comics. Dee Dee scoots her chair over next to mine. Tell me about Dr. Cesspool. What's his story? His story? Is he married? Does he have kids? What's his middle name? What's his favorite color? You see, in drama club, we really get to know our characters. Yeah, but this isn't drama club, I hiss at her. It's... My voice trails off. What's the matter, she whispers. I look around the room at all the Jefferson kids bent over their drawings. It's just so dead in here. I'm not used to this. Doodler meetings are fun. Mr. Rosa's lets us talk and play the radio and eat snacks. This is different. You're right, Nate. It is awfully quiet, Mr. Rosa said. This is like school. Then he gives me a wink. But maybe the Doodlers could find a way to liven things up. He walks over to Mrs. Everett. May we show you and your students a fun drawing game? Of course, she answers. Grab a fresh sheet of paper, everyone, Mr. Rosa's announced. We're going to play add-on. Add-on? Huh? What's that? I've never heard of it. Do we have to? You'll figure it out as we go along, Mr. Rosa tells them. At the end of the game, you'll have drawn a complete character from head to toe. Except the character might not have heads. Chad laughs. Or toes. I'll go first, I say. Draw, a big nose covered with warts. And that's all you draw, Mr. Rosa says, until the next person tells us what to add on. How about it, Teddy? Let's add on a peg leg. Ah, Mr. Rosa exclaims. So now it's up to you, cartoonist, to decide exactly where to draw that peg leg. One Jefferson kid looks confused. My drawing is just a nose and a peg leg floating in space. Perfect. You're doing it right, Mr. Rosa says. Who's next? A sombrero? A handlebar mustache. A robotic arm. Big, buggy eyes. A duck foot. A missing tooth. A tail. Elephant ears. A long neck. Like I always say, there's nothing like a game of add-on to break the ice. When the time comes for everyone to show off their drawings, we're all cracking up. Every single drawing is completely hilarious. And believe it or not, guess whose is my favorite? By the funny, amazing, brilliant, unpredictable, lively, original, upbeat, stylish Dee Dee. And all of that spells fabulous going down. It's pretty funny. That was fabulous, Dee Dee says as we leave Miss Everett's room an hour later. I should have joined the Jewelers years ago. We didn't exist years ago, Francis points out. It was a good meeting, I say. Once those CIC kids actually started talking to us. Yeah, some of them were pretty nice, Dee Dee agrees. See, you guys? Jefferson isn't so bad after all. Chapter 9. I think we have a dun dun dun. Because look, this person looks like they're sneaky. Hi. Wowza, a girl is walking? No, wait, let me start again. A turbo cute girl is walking this way, and she's looking right at me. Jackpot. You're Nate, right? She asks. I'm Nate, right. Nate, right. I'm Nate, right. Right. Very smooth, Teddy mutters, and I give him a quick kick in the shin. I just want to tell you, the mystery girl says, everyone thought it was great, the way you stood up to Nolan in the food court yesterday. Oh, that. I do stuff like that all the time. You do? Can I sign your cast? So this is what it was like for Eric Fleury. Sure, I say. I think I've got a pen here somewhere. Oh, I've got one, she says, quickly pulling out a marker the size of a salami. Well, then, sign away. Oh, I will. Happy reading. Wait, what? She disappears around the corner, and I hear an explosion of laughter. A vise tightens in my stomach as I look down at my wrists. PS 38 stinks. Then she's back, only this time she's not alone. Can I sign your cast too? Don't bother, Emma. I already said it all. Away they go, laughing their heads off. Bet you a buck they're not discussing knock-knock jokes. That was a tricky dirt, Arthur says. You mean dirty trick, says Francis. And yeah, sure was. Jefferson isn't so bad after all. Ha! Dee Dee throws her hands up. Don't blame me, she protests. I was just trying to look on the bright side. There is no bright side, Chad sighs. Not until we prove we can beat them at something. What about the game on Saturday? What about it? I'll be watching from the bench. I can't play basketball with this giant plaster sweatband on my wrist. Wait, won't the game be postponed? Francis asks. The gym at Public School 38 is in no condition to... Teddy cuts him off. We're not playing at Public School 38. They're moving the game here to Jefferson. But that makes it a home game for them. That's not fair. Oh no. How will we cope? Now what? Is this another example of Dee Dee's terminal case of look at me-itis? Or are you mocking me? No, she says, hands on her hip. I'm simply pointing out how useless it is to stand around complaining when you could be figuring out how to win the game. Boys basketball, Saturday, 7 p.m., Jefferson versus Public School 38. Eddie, Mark, Nolan, Evan, Derek, Sam, Anwar, Roberto, crush the Cats. Apparently, while I wasn't paying attention, Dee Dee became a basketball expert. Okay then, coach, I say sarcastically. How do we win? By finding Jefferson's weakness, of course. Finding their weakness? Jeepers, why didn't I think of that? It's so simple. I never said it was simple, she tells me, but Jefferson's not indestructible. They've got to have an Achilles heel. That's the second time she said that. Who's this Achilles dude? And what does his heel have to do with anything? Later at home, I decide to find out. Dad, I ask, what's an Achilles heel? Well, I'll show you. Wait at one sec. Who asked you, Ellen? But before I can stop her, she's shoving some papers in my face. I wrote this report in 4th grade, she brags. Difference number 7,387,289 between me and Ellen. The reports I did in 4th grade are buried in a landfill somewhere. The ones she did are carefully stored in a file cabinet in her room, right next to her priceless collection of plastic panda figurines. Read and learn. The Myth of Achilles, A+ by Ellen Wright, grade 4. In ancient Greece, the goddess Thetis fell in love with a mortal named Peleus. They had a son and named him Achilles. When Achilles was a baby, Thetis decided that she wanted Achilles to be immortal like she was. So she carried him to the river Styx. Everything that touched the river's magical waters became indestructible. Thetis held Achilles by the heel and dipped him in the river, not realizing that his heel never touched the water. Achilles grew up and became the greatest warrior in the land. The Trojan War was being fought between Greece and Troy. Achilles was on the side of the turn page. Greeks. At first, Achilles refused to fight because he was mad at Agamemnon, the leader of the Greek army. But after his best friend Patroclus, I don't know if I said that right, was killed, Achilles joined the battle. Thousands and thousands of Trojan arrows struck Achilles, but then they had no effect. Then one arrow hit him in the heel, the only part of his body left untouched by the protective waters of the river Styx. Because of that, Achilles died. So when people say something is your Achilles heel, they mean it's a tiny weakness that may cause you big trouble. I think that's interesting. Don't you? The end. Yeah, it is pretty interesting. But why should I tell her that? It's not my job to inflate Ellen's ego. She's got her own built-in pump. How did such a boring report get an A+? What? Give it back. Snatch. Ding dong. That's the doorbell. I'll get it. What the? Till this very second, I thought Dee Dee was a little unusual. Okay, more than a little, but basically harmless. Now I'm not so sure. She might have some deeper issues. Rawr! Why are you dressed like a cat? I asked her. I could have said, have you completely lost your mind? I'm doing a dress rehearsal, she answers happily, and I'm not just any cat. I'm the PS-38 Bobcat. Psst, rawr. I'm going to wear this to the game Saturday and cheer us on to victory. I'll be our mascot. Are you crazy? I shout. You can't just show up at Jefferson looking like that. Well, of course not, silly, she says. On game night, I'll be wearing makeup and whiskers. But bobcats are fierce, I tell her. You look like something that should be rolling on the floor with a ball of yarn. Pshaw, she says. Pshaw. Let's talk about our cartooning collaboration. If I'm going to finish your Dr. Cecil story in time to enter the contest, I'd better get started. Oh, right, I'd forgotten about that. Dee Dee's imitation of a giant furball gave me a brain cramp. I grab a bunch of paper from my room, but I don't like this. What if Dee Dee totally messes up my comic? What if she makes it all, well, Dee Dee-ish? The first part's all done, and the second part I sketched lightly in pencil. So all you have to do is finish it in pen. You don't have to add any weird details just don't do anything, any changes or what I mean is, Nate, relax, she says. I'm not going to ruin your comic. Dr. Cecil is in good hands. Good paws. So what happens? 2 days later, Dee Dee submits Dr. Cecil without even showing me the finished comic. I didn't have time to show it to you, she explains at the end of school on Friday. I finished it during lunch, and then I had to give it to Mrs. Everett right away, or we would have missed the deadline. It's not that I don't believe her. It's just that I wanted to see it first. After all, Dr. Cecil is my creation. But what's done is done. I can't do any... Psst, guys, in here, whispers a voice. Chad? Dee Dee says. Is that you? Yeah, he whispers back. Come on in. Check out this cool room I found. Dee Dee and I squeeze inside. Close the door, you guys, says Chad. I don't think we're supposed to be in here. Hey, this is pretty cool. It's basically a king-size closet packed with all sorts of stuff, old science equipment that looks like its last stop was Frankenstein's lab, and a couple of antique bicycles, a lawnmower, a stuffed owl. Oh, Dee Dee says, a suit of armor. Another one? I say, they've already got one on display in the front hall. Yeah, why do they need two? Because they're twice as good as everyone else, I grumble. They're Jefferson. Achoo! It's It's too dusty in here. What are you doing in here, Chad? Hiding, he answers. Hiding? I ask as I pop back into the hallway. Hiding from who? Well. There you are, Tiny, Nolan sneers at Chad. Playing a game of hide and seek with your little friends. We weren't playing any games, I say through gritted teeth. Oh, that's right, I forgot, Nolan crows. PS38 stinks at games, especially basketball. Huh. I guess we'll find out tomorrow, won't we? The only thing you'll find out is that a bobcat is no match for a cavalier, Nolan says. Good luck tomorrow, scrubs. You'll need it. Oh my gosh, she's so annoying. And we'll stop here for today.